Hey, what's up, geeks? So in this video I'm going to talk to you about debugging. I'm going to talk to you about debugging and its relationship with software development, and debugging and its relationship in everyday life and how you can use it. Alright, so let's get into it. So some of you may already be familiar with what debugging is, may use it in your day-to-day, everyday life, but for those of you who are unfamiliar with what debugging is basically the process of finding issues within your code, and then once you found that issue, actually coming up with a solution to resolve that issue. You may have heard the word bug. Well, that's what it is. It's basically discovering bugs. Now, the first thing about debugging is actually discovering bugs, finding the issue. When a company is looking to hire a developer, they know that you can build things, but they need to know that you can actually resolve issues. Most of software development is going to be problem solving. And if you have poor problem solving skills, it doesn't matter if you can build an application in a month or you can build an application in a year. If you don't know how to resolve issues and then actually find a solution, there's going to be problems. And the reason I felt like debugging can actually be beneficial to your life, because a lot of times we find ourselves repeating the same issues day in and day out. It can be, well, the most common issues that we have are around our relationships. It can be with our friendships, our romantic relationships, or things that have to just do with our own self-control. So just like in coding in life, having the ability to actually see, okay, this is why my relationships are going well, or this is why I'm feeling this way, that's going to put you above not only most developers, but most people. You know, you'll find people who are interested in software development and then they quit. They may quit because they just don't have the interest for it. But a lot of times people quit because they don't have the mind for it. Software development, any developer that's actually watching this, please leave a comment. Software development itself is not difficult. It's just your repetition. You're doing the same thing day in and day out. Once you got an idea how things work, it's always easy to find that issue. In life, at least I know for myself, I'll use relationships, for example, romantic relationships. You know, I found myself usually having the same issue. It really didn't matter who the woman was. It was usually the same issues over and over again. Once you get to the root of the issue, you can actually address that issue and then come up with a whole new pattern. You know, most of the time it's something that's minor. Just like in debugging, it's something that's minor that you may have left out in a piece of code or you may have not thought of. And if you can learn to apply that to your everyday life, I know for a fact that it can help you make improvements in your life. Now, also in debugging, now after you've actually discovered there's an issue in your application, the next thing you need to do is actually track down why that issue is happening. For example, let's say you're building something with React Native. React Native is built on components, and a lot of times those components have children. And if those components have children, those props are actually passing data in between each other. And sometimes you can mistakenly forget to pass data to a specific prop. Now, this is called prop drilling. Now, just like debugging, you usually have to drill for an issue. It's never on the surface. It usually happens in layers. It's an issue that happens within the layers of your application. Now, when you're debugging your life, you may have gotten like a nasty text message. You may have gotten rejected for whatever reason, or you may have discovered some kind of issue that has to do with your actions, and you know that there's something that you need to resolve and something that you can resolve. Now, after you actually recognize that issue, you need to track down why you do certain things or why you say certain things. You know, I was watching something on YouTube and it was basically saying we know good from bad, but that doesn't stop us from doing bad. Now, if you've done something that you know you should not have done, screw the bad action itself. I'm not going to tell you not to do bad things. You should try to find out, why did you do it? Why did you have the impulse to say what you said, or have the impulse do something that gave you negative results in your life? You know, it could be jealousy, or it's not even always that deep. It could be something that's even minor on the surface that you're not even aware of. You know, maybe it's with the girl, you send too many text messages, it turns her off. Or it could be being clingy. Or it could just be like your emotions. Something happens and you're quick to jump on it. I know for me in my personal life, the self-improvement stuff is always like, it's not easy. It's, you might watch a video, you may read a book, but a lot of it, in order to actually improve yourself, you have to become a completely different person. And a lot of times, it's hard to let go of the old for something new. And that's definitely what's needed if you're going to make any kind of improvements in your life. So after you've actually discovered the issue, you got to the root of the issue, now it's time to come up with a solution. Debugging with code in this situation is a lot easier. Once you've got to the root of the issue, it's usually something that's pretty minor. And when you're applying debugging to your everyday life, the solution itself, it's minor as well, and it could be easy, but the fact of just changing it, the idea of changing something, changing a new habit that you've been doing for years can be difficult. For me personally, when I'm trying to make improvements on myself, I usually, honestly, just because of my athletic background, I think it's a little bit easier for me to be self-critical and to actually come up with a better way of doing things. But it helps if you're trying to become a new person to surround yourself around new people. You don't have to discard your friends. I've done things like that where I've actually gotten rid of people, and sometimes it's necessary. But a lot of times it has to do with the way you're carrying yourself, and then you can actually improve the current relationships that you actually have right now. Finding a new group of people, it just helps you expand yourself and then actually discover a new version of who you are. I know for me, I've done this time and time again. I've met people from various backgrounds, and they've had positive and negative effects on me. But ultimately, it's about self-discovery and being courageous to actually step outside the box. So if there's something about yourself that you don't like, there's nothing wrong with that. If something about yourself that you do like, cool. It's just being willing to actually see an issue, resolve the issue, and just be confident enough to actually try to do something about it. So this video is a little bit different. Reason I'm doing a video like this is because not only am I passionate about software development, I'm also passionate about self-improvement, and I'm trying to find a way to blend in the two. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.